Hi ultrasound techs, this is Lauren. I'm here with a video tutorial today on our new requisition process. Hopefully I explained this all to you well enough, but if you have any questions after I'm done with it, then feel free to ask myself or your manager for more detailed explanation of it. So this is a test image that I have entered in the system here for an ultrasound. Now I'm going to explain to you the front end of things a little bit before we get into how to actually create the requisition and give you a little more background behind it. So first off, it's very important to make sure that the study info is filled out correctly first, either by the care coordinator or yourself before you go into the document template area and start to generate a template. So you just want to open up your study info and review everything and make sure that if you're the one entering the exam info here, that you definitely choose from the drop-down list. This choosing from the drop-down list chooses the correct modality and body part and all those sorts of things that are important to make sure that the correct template is generated automatically for you. So just go through that first. The other important thing is to go through, make sure that your symptoms and any clinical notes that you need to add are added in here now. Preferably, it's better to do it now in the study info area rather than after you've already created the document. So this is just an example again, but maybe the patient was uncooperative and you had a limited study. Then you would want to note that here. A bunch of this information is automatically going to pull onto your template document that you're going to be creating in just a moment. So again, you have your study details, your assigned personnel. Just make sure everything is correct. All right, so we're going to click out of here, click OK. Now from here, after you've made sure that all your information is entered in there correctly, now we're going to click on our documents icon over here. It doesn't matter if it's white or blue or whatever color, it doesn't matter what color it is, it's fine to start creating this at any time. So I'm going to click on the document icon. Now what we're doing here is we are creating the requisition that you're used to picking up at the facility at the nurse's station, but now we're going to be creating it as a paperless version here. So you're not going to have to pick up the requisition at the nurse's station anymore. You are still going to have to view the order, whether it's at the nurse's station or in Ramsoft, one way or the other. You still have to do that, but your requisition is going to be in here now. And what you're doing for a regular ultrasound exam that's not being written into radiology, that's going to be a separate tutorial. So click on that one if you need to know how to do the interradiology requisition over here. So if you're just doing a regular exam that is going to get read in Ramsoft by the doctor, then this is what you're going to be working with right here. So over here to the left, we see that templates is currently open. Now if something else was already scanned in or anything like that, then it might be on another area here. So to create your document, your rec/report, just make sure you click on templates. And now when you click on templates, you're going to have a couple options here depending on if you're an ultrasound tech or x-ray tech or whoever you are, it's going to know what type of requisition to pull up here, and also based off of the study info modality. The modality is the important part that's going to generate your Ultrasound Req report here. So it's very important to have the modality entered under the study info correctly. So when we look over here, we have two different options. We have DXSE US for ultrasound rec/report, or we have interradiology requisition. For right now, we're going to focus on the rec report. And it'll say either DXSE, or if you're watching this and you're an RMX tech or a DXSB tech, then it'll say DXSB or RMX over here. So this is a tutorial for anybody, but based off of this one, it's just under DXSE. So whichever place you are located at, it's going to pull up the correct template over here with the correct header. All right, so from here, again, I clicked on templates. I have some options up here where I have some different templates to pick from. I want to choose the DXSE Ultrasound Req report, so I need to double click on it. So I double clicked and now it's loading. Alright, so now it is ready to go in here, and I can start going through this. I'm going to pull this over because I just want to see it a little bit smaller, and I want to show you guys the other area over here. So a bunch of this information is actually pulled from the study info and the patient demographics that were already entered into Ramsoft by either you or your care coordinator. So the patient information and the referrer information is generated from that info that you already, or your care coordinator already pre-entered in the system. So you just want to review this information, the patient information, the referrer information, and make sure that everything's in here correct. If it's not in here correct, then before you save this or do anything else with it, then you might as well just close out of it, open your study info again, and update the study info before you actually create this requisition/report. Because this is going to be what's going to the facility as the final report. So you want to make sure that it looks professional and that everything is entered in here correctly. Okay, so if everything is correct, so we've reviewed the patient information, it's correct. We reviewed the referrer information, it's correct. Or maybe there is a doctor fix me. The transcriptionist is still going to update the doctor fix me, but if you know who the doctor is right off the bat, then you can go ahead and highlight this and delete it. And you could put Dr. We'll say Smith, for example. So you can write in this area. Which is another reason you just want to be careful that you are clicking and writing in the correct areas. So, again, if you don't know who the doctor is offhand, then you could just leave it as Dr. Fix Me, and the transcriptionist will fix that up. So now we're going to skip down to the exam information. So this is the important part that you're going to be looking at here now. So under the date of service area, and actually I'll just say under the exam information area, you have all these different areas that say click here to enter text. So to get to these different areas, it's recommended that you tab through the different areas once you've clicked on your area where it says click here to enter. So if you tab through, it's going to take you through all the different areas that you need to fill out that's required, including this area. And then it's not going to let you get any farther after this point. So it's just helpful if you tab through it, but you can click in the certain areas, but maybe until you're used to it, you might feel more comfortable tabbing instead. So, all right, I'm going to start out here with our date of service. So click here to enter a date. So I'm going to click here, and it highlights the whole area. And now I have this drop-down arrow that came up here. So I'm going to click on the drop-down arrow, and I'm going to click on the date, or I can click on today, either way. And it's going to put in today's date. And this is for the date of service. So make sure that it is the correct date of service. Now after that, I'm going to click my tab button on my keyboard. And it's going to tab over to this next area that says click here to enter text for the time of service. Now this is still military time, so make sure that you do put it in military time. So as an example, we'll just put 1400 as military time, or maybe it's in the morning, so 0900. Either way, just make sure it is in military time. Now we'll tab over to the next spot. This is a newer area that you might not be used to. This is minutes spent with the patient. So this is how many minutes you actually were with the patient, in their room and working with them. Not the amount of time that you were in the facility or starting at the nurse's station. You want to actually document how many minutes you spent with the patient. This is becoming a new important thing for facilities to know and understand how much time each vendor is spending with their patient. So I'll put it as an example here that we were with the patient for 30 minutes to do this venous Doppler. Or maybe because it was a bilateral, we'll put 45 minutes. Okay, so from here we're going to tab to the next area. Now this is the tech comments, and this note here, this patient uncooperative limited study, if you remember, I had that pre-entered under the clinical notes in the study info area, so that's why that's coming up here. Now if I don't want that there anymore and I need to get rid of it, then I can highlight it and I can delete it. Or you can leave it in there and you can put your initials over here that you left that tech comment. So I could click here to enter text, and I could do a space and a dash and my initials. Or if I don't need to add anything else in this area, I can leave it blank and click off of it. And the last thing that you might do is you might just put NA because you didn't have any comments. So I'm going to leave it as my initials because I put this tech comment in there. And then I'm going to tab to the next area. The next area is for your tech initials. So we do see that the technologist name does come up here automatically from Ramsoft, but you want to verify that you filled out this requisition, that you did the exam, that you checked the order, that you're the one that did all this. So we're going to put your initials, that you're the one that did all this. And now we're going to tab to the next space, and that is the reviewed order. In this area, you can either click or press the space bar, and an X will come up. So this is saying that you reviewed the order, whether it was at the nurse's station or if it was in Ramsoft, because our care coordinators are now, for the most part, pre-attaching your order in here. So either way, just make sure that you've reviewed the order and you're checking off that you saw it. And the last area is the number of exams done. So I just tabbed over there, and if I did 2 ultrasounds on this patient, then I would put 2, but this is just going to be the one because we did the bilateral lower. I believe you guys normally put that in there as 1 exam. And then just so you know, this information from the exam description, this is pulled from the study description area under your study info. So whatever was selected there is what's going to come up here. And also the same thing for the accession number. That same thing is pulled over from that area. So from here, you're basically done with creating your part of the requisition, and you're going to save it, and the doctor is going to open it when they're looking at your images, and they're going to create the final report from here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give this a quick look through to make sure that everything is right on my end of things. And I'm going to go ahead and save. And save is this disk type looking thing up here. So I'm going to click on save. Now, if I do need to do something more to it because I forgot to do something in a certain area, you can just click on update, and then it'll make it active so you can update it again. And then you want to click on save to make sure it saves it again. Now, this is still marked off as a preliminary in the system because the doctor hasn't read it yet. They haven't signed off on it yet. Okay, so when the doctor opens it, they're going to be clicking in the findings and the impression area, and they're going to be doing their dictation, or the transcriptionist is going to be typing here, depending on which doctor it is. And then the rest of this is automatically generated from Ramsoft as well. So the date and time read is going to be generated from Ramsoft as soon as the doctor started reading the exam. The transcriptionist initials will automatically be put in there. The date and time transcribed will automatically be put in there, and who the doctor is. So be careful about this part. If it was originally Dr. Weiss and then it changes to Dr. Paul, you need to make sure that you get this updated, or that you tell the transcriptionist to update this, because it has to say the correct doctor's name under the under who is electronically signing and reading this report. And then the other thing that's going to happen is, this is part of a newer part of our process, is that the doctor's signature is going to be stamped here as soon as they sign off on the report. And also as soon as they sign off on the report, it's going to change from a preliminary to a final. So there is going to be a little bit of an update to our statuses, which is going to generate all of this information before it gets sent to the facility. The instructions for that will come at a later time, but for right now, we just want you guys to get really familiar and comfortable with doing the requisitions this way instead of at the old way with the papers, and work out any bugs or any other type of questions that you might have over the next couple weeks. So you're going to talk with your manager about this. For right now, they're going to have you work with the regular requisition that you're used to, and in addition, they're going to have you kind of duplicate your work, and they're going to have you filling out this while we get used to it for a couple weeks, and then pretty soon we'll be going live with this once everybody is ready to go. So I just, from here, after I'm all done and I've saved it and I've done my part of the report, if you're good to go and you're ready to get it to that verified status and it was incompleted already, then you can click on your check mark. It's automatically going to drop it down to verified. Or if you're in scheduled status or you're not ready to get it into the next status yet, you can just click your X and you can do anything that you normally do from your normal process at this point, and get it into verified. Now for interradiology, those instructions are going to be coming up separately, so please watch the video on interradiology. If you have any other questions, like I said at the beginning, please feel free to reach out to myself or your manager to make sure that you fully understand this new process. Okay, thank you.